It's Tuesday, it's 48 degrees, and it's raining. And we've got 9 calls today. We're doing maintenance visits. They're all within about a, 10-mile radius of each other. And we're doing coil treatments, checking all the capacitors, contactors, relays, heat strips, making sure that everything in the system functions or has the proper output, and then checking the refrigerant levels on each system as part of our maintenance plan. And then we provide filters as part of that plan also. So we've got, I think, 8 of those today, and then an estimate at the end of the day, and it's 8:18. And again, it's raining all day, it's supposed to be, and it's 48 degrees. So we're headed to the first one right now. It's 8:18, and I just take you through a day of maintenance calls and a haircut. So we're arriving at our first stop of the day. It's 8:30. We always give a 30-minute window, so our appointment was from 8 to 8:30, just to give us a little leeway. We don't know that we're always going to be exactly there on a minute, so giving yourself a 30-minute window. I've seen some guys, some companies do an hour or more. That's just a little crazy to me. People got to take off work to meet you. I think 30 minutes is kind of meeting in the middle. But anyway, it's me and Peyton today, so we're going to split up. One of us does the indoor, one of us does the outdoor. And we'll mix and match today so you can get an idea of what we're doing. And this is a new customer, so we don't have filters with us. We like to come out on the first visit and see exactly what they have instead of just having them tell us over the phone. We want to make sure we get it exact, so we'll come back and drop off filters at a later time, but on some of the calls today we'll have the filters with us. Well, I had you guys set up here, and I went to check the camera and it said error, so I had to format the SD card and go over what we've done here. So this customer, actually, this is our first maintenance visit. They called over the weekend and couldn't get the unit running, said the thermostat was blank. So we always have people check their float switch, which that is full. We need to clean that out. But also, we found the 5-amp fuse right here blown. And if the SD card wouldn't have tripped out, you would have saw when I replaced this, it tripped it again. And then I found this connection here from this float switch, and the SS1 back there did not have a wire nut on this, so it was touching the pan, which was a short to ground, which blew the fuse. Then I jumped out the W wire from the unit, which is the heat strips, which are located right here, and connected it straight to R from the thermostat, which simulates a call for heat. And then I checked the amp draw on each one of these wires going to the heat strips, and they were pulling 20 amps each. This is 60 amp wire, so I know the installer only hooked up one of these breakers, because I mean, no contractor would, you know, draw 90 amps off of 60 amp wire. So this leg is not functioning because power is not being supplied to it. So really it's just an extra set of heat strips. If customer ever has one go out, you can move some wires. But we put a coil treatment on this coil, spray down any kind of possible signs of growth, and then added those pan treatment tabs. You can see there, those blue things, and those are kind of like a controlled release to keep the drain clean, to help eat away any kind of buildup. And this is what we had on the truck today. And now we're gonna blow out this drain line. I gotta go get a Gallo cartridge, and Peyton is over here. That top panel here, the insulation separated from the silver, so the fan is trying to pull the insulation off of the you know, that panel. So he's taping that back in place. The tape won't stick to the silver, so we're having to wrap it all the way around and put it on the front side of the door just to hold the insulation in place. I gotta go get an extra wire nut because I stole one to put on this guy. So what we'll do here, this is the float. The way this works is it comes up and it breaks continuity on the two wires coming out. We wire these up to, we'll take one end and wire it to the 24 volt hot coming out of the transformer, commonly referred to as R. And then we'll take the other lead from this float switch and treat it like it's R from the air handler, which is what you should do. So you take your thermostat wire going to the outdoor unit and the thermostat wire going to the thermostat from the air handler, and you put one end on those wires and the other end of this switch on R coming from the thermostat. So now I'm going to take the camera outside so you can see what this looks like outside. But that seats down in this safety switch. I've got a CO2 cartridge in here, I don't know, a couple hundred PSI. I'm going to blow this drain out. Alright, so we wrapped up that first call. It's about 9:35. We're headed to get haircuts, and then we're gonna head to our next call. Alright, so it's 11:48. We stopped by, got something to eat, and we're leaving. The distributor just picked up our filters. They're all in the back seat because it's raining, and now we're headed to our next call. So we'll pick back up when we get there. All right, it's 12:04. We're on our second call today. We are running behind. Still raining. It's 47 degrees outside, 100% humidity. And this customer has two systems. Air handlers are in the attic. I'm going to be doing the outdoor, and then I'll come up and help Peyton finish up on the units that are in the attic. And that's it. We did go and get the filters. Already said that, so we'll go in and change her filters for her if she didn't do it yesterday, because we sent out our monthly reminder to change filters yesterday to all of our maintenance customers. All right, so we're sitting out on the porch because it's raining. Hooked up my digital field piece pressure probes, and we're able to monitor the pressures right here out of the rain. So gonna let them run for 15 minutes, check both systems, and then we're gonna move on to the next call. All right, so finished up that call. It's 12:55. We're already back on the road, headed to the next one. Everything again is maintenance today, so we're going to, it's probably a 15-minute drive from this last call we were on. Still raining, still 48 degrees, and basically go through the same process. Again, checking capacitors, heat strips, making sure there's not a voltage drop across the contactor This being in the rain kind of makes that sort of, I'm not comfortable with it because you're exposing that electrical contact to rain. But basically, I think in our contactor video that's on our channel shows you how to check a contactor. Basically, you want to check for voltage drop. So in residential, this works in commercial too with 3-phase contactors and multiple point contactors. But your voltmeters, when it's set to alternating current voltage, is checking for a difference in voltage between your two probes that come off of your voltmeter. So when you check, you know, a wire to ground, if you're checking 120 volts, the difference between that wire and the ground is what's reflected on your voltmeter. So when you check a contactor, if you've got a single pole contactor, for instance, or example, you got a lead on the top and a lead on the bottom, checking the same leg. The only thing that's in between those 2 points is the actual contact being pulled in. So if you have a big voltage reading there, that lets you know that there's a lot of resistance between those points, and A, either you need to replace the contactor, or B, the points might need to be cleaned on the contactor. Sometimes we take them apart and kind of file them down a little bit to get any pits off. Sometimes it's better to just replace. But that's the only thing we haven't actually filmed today, I believe. But anyway, headed to the next call. All right, so it's 106. I think this is call and a phone call, but it's a telemarketer. Get about 100 of those phone calls a day. We're pulling up 106 on this, I think this is the 3rd or 4th call. One system, indoor units in the attic. And we're going down this holy dirt road. Anyway. So it's 1:54, still raining, still 48 degrees. I'm smashing out my little fruit cup from Chick-fil-A that we got earlier instead of fries. And we're about to head to our next call. It's probably a, let's see, it's a 16-minute drive. And touching on some of what we did, another telemarketer, or somebody trying to sell me something I didn't ask for. I have all my customers' numbers programmed in this phone, so if they're calling my phone, their name shows up, by the way. We did a coil cleaning here on this outdoor unit. There was a little bit of buildup on it, and in that video I used a solution called New Bright by New Calgon. It's just what I've used since I got in this trade. That and Alka-Brite. That is a painted coil on that Temp Star unit. That's an ICP product. It's got that black paint on the actual coil. I don't know why they paint it, but if you use New Bright or Alka-Brite at the dirty coil ratio, which I think is 4:1, it will literally eat the paint off of the coil. Ask me how I know, because I've done it. When you start washing the coil off, you get all this black tinsel, you know, like you put on a Christmas tree, coming off, and then you've got this weird looking coil that's like half splotchy black, half silver. So I used a really weak solution. I think it was like 7 or 8:1, which is the light soil ratio on the bottle. And I couldn't get the hose thing off the end of their hose, the spray nozzle, so I used a pump up sprayer, sprayed the solution on, and then you want to have enough pressure and the stream to be where water is going all the way through the coil. So there's a shot where I come over the top of the coil and you can see the water actually coming out of the inside of the coil with that, and you want to make sure you go over the entire thing. So I used the grid on that unit to kind of show me where I've been. There was a little bit of residue on that, you know, coil guard that goes around the unit, and I could see as I was washing that off. But that's a coil cleaning. I get some guys like, oh, you should take the fan housing off and take the coil guard off. Ideally, yes. If it's super dirty and you've got buildup and a bunch of leaves and trash in the bottom of the inside of the condenser, take the fan shroud off, whatever you want to call it, get all that stuff out, and take the coil guard off. That one's open. Some of the coil guards, like the Bryant we did on the last call, that coil wasn't dirty. That unit was installed just a few years ago. You do have to take the coil guard off to clean that coil, but that's the gist of it. You're just trying to increase the amount of air that can freely travel through these coils, because that's the purpose they serve. You got the fins, you got the copper tubing running through the fins. If dirt starts building up in those, in between those fins, that restricts airflow, increases head pressure, decreases system performance, costs more money to the homeowner or business owner. So 1:58 now. We're gonna head to this next call right after I finish this fruit. All right, arriving on our next call. It's 2:13. It's misting here, still 49 degrees. Same thing here, doing maintenance, and we'll pick up. You want to do the indoor or the outdoor?
I'll do the outdoor.
Okay, so we'll be covering the indoor here. This unit has this is a train system, split heat pump, don't remember the tonnage, and it has a train clean effects installed on it, which is their air purifier. So we'll be checking that, checking capacitors, treating the coil, evap coil, treating the drain pan and the drain system or condensate drain, and of course checking heat strips, that sort of thing. right, we got this one wrapped up. It's 2:39. Gonna make a pit stop by the bank. And our next appointment is at 3, and it's probably 10 minutes from here, 15 from the bank. And had the clean effects in the video right before this up in the attic. That thing, if it's the only filter on a house, which that's typically the way we did that back when we installed those, it would need to be cleaned every 6 months to 12 months depending on the climate in the house. That one's at the unit. That's an attic system, so it has 2 separate return boxes, and we've done a pre-filter there at those boxes. So the return system is oversized, so you're able to put in, you know, more than one filter before it gets to the evap coil, the fan coil, air handler, whatever you want to call it. So that pre-filter in her ceilings keeps the pre-filter on the clean effects clean. So the only thing that it's actually doing is killing the VOC odors and bacteria, anything that gets into the airstream. So it's not really being used as a particulate filter. So the other ones we have with that same setup, we have to clean frequently, and when we get around to one, we'll do a video on how to clean those. Anyway, we're headed out to the bank and to the next stop. All right, it's 3:01. We're about to pull in the driveway of this next to last maintenance call, and it's raining a little harder than it has the rest of the day. Still cold, or you know, cold for us here in the south. 100% humidity, 49 degrees, 40 degrees. A lot colder to me than a dry 20. Anyways, I'll be on the outdoor unit for this one. All right, we got that one wrapped up. It's 3:30 on the dot, and our next call is actually at 4 p.m. and we're only 5 minutes away. So we'll go ahead and go over, see if the customer's at home. If not, we'll go ahead and do the outdoor unit and wait on them to get home. We always call when we're running late, but we don't ever call to try and rush customers to get there earlier if we're running ahead of schedule, unless it's you know, urgent, like we have an emergency that we need to get to quicker. So we're headed that way. All right, we're here. It's 3:40. Customer is home, so we're gonna go ahead and knock this out. I think I'm gonna do the outdoor here from the truck because it's raining kind of hard. We do have a waterproof camera, but water getting on the lens kind of makes it blurry. Alright, so it's about 4:05. We're headed to our last call of the day, which is going to be an estimate. So we're going to go out, see what the customer wants, provide different options for whatever that is, and try and close a deal. And then we're going to call it a day. And we got about a 15-20 minute drive there, and we'll see you then. All right, so that wraps up our day. It's 4:44. We ran 8 calls, maintenance calls, scheduled maintenance, so filters and whatnot, basic component checks. If we found something wrong, we went ahead and got approval to fix it or replace it, and we did an estimate at the end of the day. We had to reschedule one and get haircuts. If you want to see more content like this, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.